First of all, we have here the types of transportations. We have 8 transportations you need to know. Number 1, train, اللي هو القطار. Tram, notice that the tram has the wires above. Bus, ship, سفينة. Taxi, motorbike. Plane, طيارة. And finally, helicopter. The second thing you need to know is writing sentences using where and weren't. First, where and weren't are used for the plural if you have 2 or more pictures. Okay? You have 3 words that you're going to use them in all the sentences. There, years ago. Write there at the beginning of the sentence and write years ago at the end of the sentence. So what's going to change is what you're going to write in the middle. So you will look at the picture and write. If you don't have an X on the picture, you're going to use where. If you have an X on the picture, you're going to use weren't. So picture number 1, I have an X, so I'm going to write weren't. In here, I don't have X, I'm going to use where. In here, I have an X, I'm going to write weren't. And in here, I don't have an X, so I'm going to write where. After that, you're going to look at the picture and write the name of the transportation. Add S at the end because what you see in the picture is plural. Okay, so picture number 1, ships. Don't forget the S for the plural. Picture number 2, helicopters. Don't forget the S at the end for the plural. Trams. Don't forget the S at the end for the plural. And finally, buses. Don't forget the S at the end for the plural. Okay. The last thing you're going to write, any number you want. You want 10, 5, 20, 50, 100, whatever you want. So there weren't ships 10 years ago. There were helicopters, for example, 5 years ago. There weren't trams, for example, 3 years ago. There were buses, for example, or let's write here, 10 years ago. Okay, so this is how you write sentences using where and weren't for the plural. So for was and wasn't, we're going to follow the same steps. Remember that was and wasn't are used for the singular. If you see 1 bus, 1 taxi, 1 tram, you will use was or wasn't. So as I told you, there are 3 words that you're going to use in all sentences. There, you're going to write it at the beginning of the sentence. Years ago, at the end of the sentence. So as you can see, all sentences I wrote there at the beginning. And all sentences I wrote years ago at the end. So what's going to change is what's in the middle. Okay, so if I have an X on the picture, I'm going to use wasn't. If I don't have an X, I'm going to use was. So picture number 1, I don't have an X, so I wrote was. In here, I have an X, I wrote wasn't. In here, I don't have an X, so I wrote was. And in here, I have an X, so I wrote wasn't. Number 3, you're going to write the name of the transportation. So in here, I have a plane. In here, I have a train. In here, I have a taxi. And the last one, I have a motorbike. Finally, you're going to write any number you want. 10, 50, 100, 20, 3, 4, whatever. So for example, I'm going to write here 9. I'm going to write here 4. I'm going to write here 2. And I'm going to write here 20. So this is how you write sentences using was and wasn't for the plural. So this is the grammatical rule for you again. Number 1, you're going to start all sentences with the word there. Then, It depends. If you have singular, mufrad, you're going to use was or wasn't. If you have plural, two or more pictures, you're going to use were or weren't. Then you're going to write the name of the transportation, اسم وسيلة المواصلات that you see in the picture. Then you're going to write any number you want, 10, 20, 50, 100. And finally, you're going to end your sentence with the two words years ago.